Check, check. John Loomis on the broadcast.
Check, check. William Dobson on the broadcast.
Clover Nation, it is great to be back at East Clayton Community Park. Welcome to our first ever Greatest Show on Dirt pregame show. Today I am finally joined by my color analyst for this year, Will Dobson. Will, welcome.
Hello, John. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so thank you for joining us here at East Clayton Community Park, where the Clovers are now looking to bounce back after 2 straight road losses. Will, what stood out to you about these games?
Well, the bats were connecting. The fielding and pitching was excellent, but the Clovers would have one bad inning that would just totally drag them down in these games. And so the Clovers are really just looking for consistency tonight.
Tonight, the Clovers face off against the first place in their division, Kinston Wingmen. The Clovers are currently 2 games behind the Wingmen, and today can be a huge step in retaking the division lead.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity to bounce back and build momentum after those 2 losses. And I think that's why manager Landry Moore is starting Seth Bullock tonight.
Seth Bullock has been a monster on the mound all year, both as a starter and relief pitcher.
You hit it right in the head, John. Get ready for the stat line. 7 innings pitched. He's faced 34 batters, and he's only allowed 5 hits. And his ERA so far in the season is 0.
Wow, so clearly going strong there on the mound. The rest of the lineup for the Clovers is looking a little different today. We've seen a few different interesting move positions, but we'll get into that as we get into the next break. You've seen Satolsky as a constant on that shortstop position, but today we're seeing Davey Morgan move from third base to second base, seeing a few faces we haven't seen in a while, but Jackson Dunlap also remaining at first. It's clear that the lineup is just a few rotations from clinking. So, we'll be back after a short break after the national anthem. We'll go over these lineups. Don't go anywhere, Clover Nation, and you are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park. John Loomis joined here with Will Dobson. It's time for your lineups now as the Kinston Wingmen are up first. It'll be the shortstop, Dawson Abels, up first, followed by Fisher Harrison, Luke Cannon, Travis Gamachi, Cameron Way, Cameron Balance, Trey Hartman, Chase Pierce, and S.J. Harris, with Richard Nobles will be on the mound for the Wingmen. Now on the mound for the Clovers, number 12, Seth Bullock. Well, what stands out to you about Bullock today?
Well, he's a great pitcher when it comes to keeping the batters of the opposing team off base. He's only allowed 5 hits, as I said, and I have no reason not to expect a lights-out performance from him tonight, John.
He's only pitched 7 innings so far this season. Curious to see how far out that Landry Moore will keep him. We've seen kind of a pattern here with the Clovers pitchers that beginning of the year they were only out for the first 3 innings or so. Started to see them stay out for longer, 5, 6. I've even seen 7 innings so far. So I'm excited to see how Seth Bullock does tonight. Behind the plate, we'll have Alex Levesque once again going on his second stint here at home with the Clovers. Clovers have kind of shifted between catchers throughout the season. All of them have performed very well, but that position at catcher can be absolutely brutal on the body, so you typically want to keep them nice and rested up. Now Dawson Abels up to the plate, shortstop out of Lenore Community College. Still waiting on the signal here. And we are set to play. First pitch comes on the inside for strike number 1.
And that's just the kind of start you want to get off to.
Oftentimes finding that strike zone for the first time can help out a lot of confidence. That's hit over the pitcher's head. It's going to be the shortstop, Zlotowski. He'll make the play to first, and that's a quick out number 1 here for Seth Bullock.
Route number 1 brings up the second baseman now.
As you were saying, that's exactly the start you want to see there. An efficient
From
out,
Jackson,
not
Texas.
too much arm
Fisher.
movement, not too much stress. Something Clovers pitchers have had to do throughout the year too is they have really done a great job of relying on their field to get them outs. Ooh, that is a strong swing and a miss in the dirt. High but in for strike 2, and now all of a sudden Fisher Harrison from University of St. Thomas finds himself in an 0-2 count.
Seems like he's nervous, John.
It can be hard oftentimes, some of your first at-bats. That one's going to get hit towards right field, but it'll be caught.
All right, route number 2. 2 up, 2 down now for the right fielder.
Now 2 outs on the board here for the Clovers. An efficient start by that Clovers fielding team and by the pitcher Seth Bullock. It was Garrett Moffitt out in right field. Was a redshirt freshman at NC State this past year. And Luke Cannon hits a shot right down center field. Well, he's actually listed as a pitcher on the roster for the Kinston Wingmen. Interesting to see him at bat here.
It is very interesting. It seems like their pitchers are versatile players that can play at multiple positions.
True that, as it does seem that multiple pitchers are actually batting for the Kinston Wingmen. Now it's Travis Gamachi, left fielder out of NC Wesleyan. He's got a few teammates on the team. One name in particular being Davey Morgan. First pitch in the dirt, but Levesque does a good job of finding it.
The Clovers have to avoid, though, situations like that because we've seen runners advance on situations like that.
Runners are very aggressive here in the Old North State League, as we've seen multiple games in a row now. Clovers have stolen multiple bases in one go. Really easy to get flustered off of something like that. All of a sudden you've overthrown a pass to your second baseman, and they just keep running. That ball's hit up high, foul to the right side. Now Seth Bullock battling his way back from a 2-0 count. That ball is hit into deep left center field. Isaiah Thomas is under it, though. He'll make the catch, and that is 4 batters up, 3 batters down. Kinston Wingmen leave 1 on base. We're heading to the bottom of the first, where the Clovers are now up to bat. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. We're throwing down, so it's time for the bottom of the first here. It's going to be the Clovers up to bat here. Seeing a bit of a different batting lineup as Davey Morgan's actually up first to bat. He'll be followed by Jack Stark, Mike Snyder, Garrett Moffitt, Jackson Dunlap, JoJo Allen, Alex Levesque, Zach Saltolsky, and Isaiah Thomas. All names that the Clovers faithful are familiar with here at East Clayton Community Park. Davey Morgan has been an absolute stud this season, returning after a record-breaking last season. As he hits that one right into left field. They will be under it, though, and that's a quick out number 1 for Davey Morgan and the Clovers.
A quick out, but Davey Morgan's success is Clover's success. Absolutely 100%. When he does well, the team as a whole does well.
It's good to see him making contact that early. Even though it was a fly out, him just getting that connection with the barrel of the bat and the ball lets us know that Davey Morgan is in the zone and ready to go. That comes in for strike number 1 here for Jack Stark. Stark out of Gaston College, originally from Virginia Beach. As that bounces up and around the catcher. Nobody is on base to advance, though. 1-1 count here. Jack Stark is one of these newer additions to the Clovers roster, and he has been absolutely stunning for the Clovers, playing a massive part in both of the mercy-ruled games against the Oak City Gliders. Now he finds himself in a 2-2 count here. That ball is fouled right back to us. Keeps the at-bat alive, though, remaining a 2-2 count.
So far, he's had a very good eye at this at-bat.
Something I've noticed with a lot of these Clovers batters is they're not afraid to swing, but they're also not afraid to not. And the battle continues here. Clovers have been very good at getting on base without having to swing their bats. Often very patient at the mound. They don't let getting down in the count fluster them too often.
Oh,
And a hard strike 3 there.
commentator's curse.
I know, really. Got to be careful what we say here, but that's 2 outs now for the Clovers.
Senior, number 5, Mike Snyder.
Now the power of the Clovers lineup steps up to the mound. Mike Snyder. You can clearly tell when he steps up to the plate. He's probably the biggest guy on this field by a few inches. He'll foul that first one off to the right side.
And, usually with the criticism with someone his size in baseball is that he has a big mechanical swing, but on that foul ball, he looked very quick.
Very quick, very simple. He clearly keeps the basics and fundamentals very strong. Mike finds himself now in an 0-2 count, something he's quite familiar with at this point. Has himself a little conversation. That one's way outside now, 1-2 count. Snyder has been excellent at battling back from these moments where he finds himself down in the count. Interesting, they're going to call that a strike 3. Thought there might have been some contact there, apparently not. But the Clovers will go 1-2-3 inning here at the bottom of the first, heading to the top of the second. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park here. Seth Bullock stepping up to the mound to take his second inning of work. He had himself a pretty effective first inning, only allowing 1 hit, 3 outs. No strikeouts, but he is very confident in the field behind him and those players to make plays. Now Cameron Way steps up to the plate, third baseman out of Methodist University. Hard swing and a miss there for strike number 1. Way originally from Hamlet, North Carolina.
No doubt we'll see some strikeouts soon.
That ball is hit. It's going to be a base hit for Cameron Way as he hits that right in between the third baseman and shortstop. That was a perfectly placed ball. I agree, though. I think we will start seeing some strikeouts here pretty soon. Seth Bullock's got him swinging, and he's putting the pitches in places where you don't necessarily want to hit them. Now Cameron Balance. Alex Levesque, good block there. Keeps Cameron number 1 from advancing. Kind of cruel by the manager to put 2 Camerons back to back. At least they're spelled differently. Cameron Way with a C, Cameron Balance with a K. Comes in for ball number 2. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-0 count here for Cameron Balance. So now, the question of old, Will, do you swing on a 3-0 count?
Now if that's the pitch.
Let the pitch answer for him, and I think I'd have to agree there.
Number 33.
If I ever find
from
myself in a
Baltimore,
3-0
Ohio, by way of
count,
the University of Charleston, West
unless it's
Virginia.
like right down the middle and it's like a money ball, why swing at it?
It's true.
Now Trey Hartman steps up. He's got runners at first and second, one in scoring position. Hartman's the designated hitter here for the Kinston Wingmen. And Seth Bullock starting to find his footing again as first pitch comes in for a strike. And 2 straight hits here for Seth Bullock. How does he choose to respond? That ball is inside. Hartman actually has to jump to get out of the way. 1-1 count. He'll take a swing at that one. It's foul, just out of play. The Clovers field was ready to make a play on that if available, but no play to be made as now the count is 1-2. Just a bit inside, now up to a 2-2 count.
It's getting dangerously close on that inside.
It is. It definitely is. The inside sometimes can be really hard for a pitcher because there is a zone in there where you can almost consistently get a strike. And there it is, as we talk about it, in the lower corner. First strikeout of the night here for Seth Bullock.
Brings up the catcher now.
Excellent way to respond after allowing 2 straight hits. Letting them know you're still locked in, you are ready for business. Now the 8th batter of the lineup steps up, Chase Pierce. The catcher from Brunswick Community College. First pitch comes in low, but for strike 1.
Looks like he's back in the zone, John.
It looks like it. Could be hard, too. That hit on one of the first pitches can really hurt your confidence, but Seth Bullock is just showing how strong mentally he is as that ball's fouled. And now all of a sudden, Chase Pierce finds himself in an 0-2 count. We were waiting on the strikeouts to show up, and we got the first one. Just a bit inside. I think that ball was purposely placed there. I think he was testing the batter to see what he was willing to and not to swing at.
Definitely, John.
Oh, and that's going to hit Chase Pierce. Got to be careful with that inside pitch.
Number 8.
Now he's getting a talking to by the umpire.
Interesting. I wonder if the umpires let him know to kind of lay off the inside pitches a bit. They've been close throughout the night. It's a short talk, whatever it is. Now the base is loaded as the number 9 slot steps up, S.J. Harris, out of Belmont Abbey College. Got a few Belmont Abbey athletes in our roster as well. So now just one out on the board, and Seth Bullock finds himself in a bit of a jam. Good eye there by SJ. That was definitely a 50-50 call. That's a good swing and miss there. Brings the count up to 1-1. Strikeout is almost essential here. Either a strikeout or an infield grounder. Not even grounder, you'd want an infield fly. But strike 2 comes in. It's been impressive how many times this season the Clovers have been able to respond well to the bases loaded and allow only 1 or even no runs in. Not going to say anything about this particular at-bat as
it scores the run.
That is going to hit S.J. Harris. It's going to score run number 1 here for the Kinston Wingmen.
Yeah, back to the top of the order now for the Wingmen. Shortstop number 3.
We're in the second inning and already back to the top of the order here. It's been interesting. Seth Bullock has been showing his pitches to be strong and interesting to see so many batters doing well against him so far. That's actually Seth Bullock's first earned run of the season. Another ball inside there. Comes close to hitting Dawson.
It's his first run, but you'd expect it to come against the top team in the division.
It is true. This is a very strong team the Clovers are facing against. Clovers, who also have themselves some strong expectations, they're looking to turn 2, and they'll do it.
That's a 4.
Excellent way to save off a few more runs. 6-4-3 double play there for the Clovers. We are going to the bottom of the second.
No error.
Kinston Wingmen put up 1, but the damage is limited. Clovers now have a chance to respond. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into Clayton, North Carolina. Here is Kinston Wingmen taking an early lead against the Clovers. The Clovers now have their chance to respond. Richard Nobles beat his second take on the mound. Nobles, who had 2 strikeouts to close out the last inning, had himself a very strong 1-2-3 inning. Some stats from his previous high school season: had a 3.08 ERA with 50 innings pitched, struck out 56 batters. So, Will, if I had to guess, I think we might be seeing more of those strikeouts if the Clovers are not careful.
Definitely. Gotta keep having that good eye that we've been seeing from some batters on most of their pitches at bat.
Now Garrett Moffitt steps up as the leadoff batter here. Mentioned before that he goes to North Carolina State University, who unfortunately just got eliminated from the NCAA tournament.
There's that good eye I was talking about, John.
Indeed. 1-0 count now. Actually eliminated by Campbell, so a little rivalry between teams here as Kinston has a Campbell athlete and Clovers have an NC State athlete. Now 1-1 count here for Moffitt. That comes outside. Another good eye. Now a 2-1 count. Another great eye there. 3-1 count here for Garrett Moffitt. He finds himself in a very friendly count. Nobles responds well with strike 2 just on the outside corner. Now our first full count of the night. As Moffitt's going to hit that toward center field. That's going to drop pretty deep. He'll think about second, but come back to first. That is a leadoff single for the Clayton Clovers. Excellent way to get things going as the hometown kid, Jackson Dunlap, now steps up to the plate.
Excellent response by the Clovers after giving up a run in the top half of the inning.
It can be very difficult. Baseball is such a big game of runs and momentum. Not losing your confidence is one of the most important things. I think being mentally tough is a lot more important than being necessarily physically strong in baseball. And Dunlap finds himself in a quick 2-0 count. They'll check on Garrett Moffitt, but he was no more than a few feet from base, so he makes it back safely. Check on him again.
Yeah, as you were saying earlier, John, as Yogi Berra used to say, baseball is 90% mental, the other half is physical.
Now a 3-0 count. I feel like some of the best quotes from sports come from baseball references in general. So that comes in for strike number 1. Excellent way for Richard Nobles to respond. One of my favorites from Bull Durham. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. Runner's going to take off. It won't matter because it's foul. What a response by Richard Nobles. Going down 3-0 in the count. And he has worked 2 straight strikes in here. Brings it out to a full count. That's just a bit inside. We haven't seen much leniency with the inside today, though, so Jackson Dunlap move on to first. And with no outs, all of a sudden the Clovers have runners on first and second.
Way to have ice water in his veins on a full count.
It takes a lot of courage. It takes a
does.
lot of courage,
It
and
does.
Dunlap faced that down like it was nothing. Now JoJo Allen steps up. Third baseman today. That pitch comes just a bit high. It seems like Nobles is just a few inches from reaching that strike zone, but he's having trouble finding it. And that comes outside. An excellent block, though, by Chase Pierce, the catcher for the Wingmen. Could have been disastrous if that got by him.
Yeah, and you know, some pitchers put the ball a little bit high just off the strike zone to make the batter nervous that it might dip down and try and swing.
And Clovers are used to seeing a lot of those high movement pitches. A lot of talent here in the Old North State League, especially on the mound. And JoJo Allen fouls that one straight back. That foul ball actually knocked the charging port off of our camera, but Will Dobson bravely mid-pitch fixes it. Up to a 3-1 count now. And JoJo Allen thought he had himself a walk there. A little shocked by the second strike call. Now we have a third full count in a row. These Clovers batters are making Nobles work for it. That's going to get hit in the play by Allen. Going to drop right in front of the second baseman. He won't get the chance to make a double play, but he will get Allen out at first. So despite one out, the Clovers now have runners on second and third. So a 2 in scoring position. Number 4, the catcher, Alex Levesque, steps up to the plate. There are definitely worse situations to be in.
Definitely. 2 runners in scoring position. Good opportunity for the Clovers.
That first pitch comes just inside for strike number 1. That is way outside. 1-1. Seen some excellent blocks so far by Chase Pierce.
It almost looked like Garrett Moffitt was teasing that he was going to steal a home.
We've seen it here at East Clayton Community Park already. See what you're saying, though. He took a little run there. catcher saw it also. He'll throw down to third, but will not be quick enough for the out. Now a 2-1 count here. Runners on second and third for Alex Levesque. And he'll foul that one back to the surprise of the crowd. And a good hit there by Alex Levesque. It will go foul way up play. Keeps the count now at 2-2 for the Clovers catcher. Ump call time now as Levesque will take a quick step out, come right back in. Another strong foul back. Noticed that Richard Nobles was working quick at first and was racking up a lot of those balls. Started to take a deep breath in between each pitch, really take his time now.
This rate of foul balls, we're going to run out of baseballs.
There we go.
And count that as another foul. What a battle here between Alex Levesque and Richard Nobles.
As you said earlier, John, making him work for it.
They're really racking up this pitch count high. Now he's really taking his time. Another time called.
The classic delay strategy.
That one's hitting the play right towards second base. Nobody's there. One run's going to come. They'll stop Jackson Dunlap at third base. But that's now a tie game with only one out on the board. RBI single there for Alex Levesque. Now Zach Zoltolski steps up to the plate with runners on the corners. One out on the board.
Number 6, Zach Zoltolski.
The response you want if you're a Clovers fan.
Really is. Clovers, when they tend to lose games, have a habit of getting way down in score and not having an opportunity to really respond. But when they're able to keep up like this, start sweating if you're in the Kinston Wingmen dugout. And that comes just a bit high. I'll tell you what, that pitch would have gotten me 10 out of 10 times. I would have swung at that all day, but Zoltolski showing why he's on the field and I'm not. Comes out again for ball number 2.
And now the pitcher will take time as they will use the delay strategy. You know, you see it on both sides, but it's part of the game of baseball. You know, there have been complaints about the length of games, but the reality is, as I said earlier, it's just part of the game.
Now a quick meeting here with Richard Nobles. It can be difficult when this is some of the first collegiate experience that he's gotten so far. He's played a lot of high school, hasn't gotten a chance to head on down to Lenore Community College yet. So he's facing some of the highest tier batters that he has ever faced. Got to imagine the coach is just instilling a bit of confidence in him, letting him know that, hey, you're on this mound for a reason. We believe in you.
Send him home.
That next pitch comes in just high once again, and Zoltolski finds himself a very friendly count. And there it is, bases loaded. Only one out on the board.
You know, it doesn't help Nobles that there are some excellent eyes out here on the Clovers lineup.
It's something the Clovers have highlighted all season, is just how strong their eye can be. Clovers don't like to swing unless it's a pitch they like. Been a few pitchers here and there that can make them think they want the pitch, but reality, the Clovers are excellent at wearing down these pitchers. It's now the 5th ball in a row here. Fantastic eye there by Isaiah Thomas. Works up a 2-0 count. Way outside, 3-0 count. They'll check on Zoltolski, but
Let's go! Let's go!
nothing there for him.
And we were talking about the mental part of baseball. A young guy like this facing the talent that he hasn't necessarily seen can put him in a mental slug.
And after throwing 8 balls in a row,
That was
confused as to what happened there.
I had that as ball 4, John.
I also had that as ball 4. But nonetheless, that'll be ball 3. We'll continue. Now a 3-1 count. A little confused as to what happened there, but 3-2.
3-2.
So we must have missed a strike call in there. Puts the pressure on Isaiah Thomas all of a sudden as he foul tips that one to save the at-bat. Now I'm curious, looking back, what pitch was it? It was a strike. There were a few that were close to the zone, so it could be a handful. Another one keeps it alive for Isaiah Thomas, and he will not go down easy. It'd be really easy to get caught off guard after a count error like that. He thought he had it in the bag at a 3-0 count, and all of a sudden he is fighting for it, and fight for it has he. And that's going to be outside. That's another walk, and the Clovers take the lead as they'll walk with the bases loaded. Jackson Dunlap's going to make it home.
There's that ball 4 we were looking for, John.
I know. We thought it was a lot earlier than it was, but we got it nonetheless. Now, who else would you want here but Davey Morgan to step up? Clovers having success already. So now, Davey Morgan, who is used to being so tied up with the success of the Clovers.
Come on, Dave, come
The
on!
rest of the team's doing it already. Takes a bit of pressure off Davey Morgan, but he gets to pad his stats here with a good swing. They'll call that as strike number 1, now a 1-1 count. As a batter, oftentimes the inside can be the hardest to judge. He'll hit that one way up high. It's going to be just past the infield. They'll make the catch. Alex Levesque teases coming home, but decides not to. Now a 2 outs. Bases still loaded here for the Clovers. First baseman comes up to give Nobles a bit of advice. Wonder what he was telling him.
Some words of encouragement, I'm sure.
It can be difficult when you have the bases loaded like that. I mean, Nobles has responded really well. It's allowed 2 runs, but it can be a lot worse when you've got the bases loaded like that.
Yes, that's what I was just about to say, John.
There we go!
That's going to be hit into play. It's going to be a hard throw.
Ooh.
They're going to say he's safe.
First baseman dropped the ball, John.
That's another run. Literally. Now 3-1 lead here for the Clovers. Still 2 outs. Mike Snyder has his opportunity here.
Designated hitter, number 5.
Shows why, even if you hit that just towards the infield, coaches want you to have the confidence to run like you're going to reach first. Because in moments like that, if he was just lightly jogging on the way down, I'm not sure he would have made it.
No, and the pop-up on the ball definitely helped him because it made it difficult for the second baseman to throw to first base.
Absolutely. utilizing how that ball can bounce is crucial in moments like that. And the catcher's going to have a quick word here with Nobles. So Lincoln Eiler will make it to the field to give a delivery of Old North State League branded balls to the ump. Had a lot of fouls. I imagine they're running through that ball stock pretty quickly here. One of the things I really appreciate about these Clovers lineup is they have the opportunity here. I mean, you got the bases loaded. When a guy like Mike Snyder steps up, you almost expect him to swing at every pitch. Just like that. That's hit towards center field. That's going to drop. One run's going to come home. Isaiah Thomas is going to come home. That ball is thrown way out. And Jack Stark is going to race. Oh, no, he decides to go back to third. He had everybody pumped up there. 2 RBI single for Mike Snyder. And the runs are now pouring in for the Clovers. One of the things we've seen all season here from Clayton is when their backs are against the wall, they've got 2 outs on the board. A lot of teams tend to fold over then, but I feel like a lot of Clayton scoring has come from these 2-out moments. They almost catch the defense and off guard with how aggressive they come in.
They definitely do, John.
So with that, we have batted around this inning. Garrett Moffitt, who originally led off, is now back up to bat here.
And Nobles, this young pitcher, that's his 60th pitch of the game.
That ball gets past Pierce, and that's going to bring home another runner. Nobles keeps looking towards the dugout. Now a 6-1 lead here for the Clayton Clovers. Mike Snyder reaches third. It's a 1-1 count here for Garrett Moffitt, who already had a hit in this inning. And he has the opportunity to really extend this lead even more here for the Clovers. That's fouled down the first baseline. Clovers have already played the Kinston Wingmen. Wingmen were their opening game of the season, which the Clovers dropped 6-4. And that was hit right towards Nobles. He makes a good pass. That's going to end the bottom of the second. Not before Clayton puts up 6 runs and bats around. Excellent inning here for the Clayton Clovers. Kinston Wingmen now have an opportunity to respond. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
Number 2, Fisher Harrison.
It's going to be Fisher Harrison leading off here for the Kinston Wingmen. Suddenly they find themselves down 6-1 after putting up a run in the second inning.
I have no doubt they'll respond in some way, John.
Question is, will they go down swinging or will they get on the base? And on cue, Fisher Harrison answers my question with a deep hit into left field. That's going to be a lead-off single here for the Kinston Wingmen. Seth Bullock, I feel like, has had to have thrown a lot less pitches than Nobles at this point.
That's correct, John. He's thrown 33.
How many has Nobles thrown?
Nobles has thrown 60, I believe.
Wow. And that's a good swing and a miss for strike number 1.
Excuse me, 62.
62, okay, so pretty close to half there. Gotta imagine that's going to play a large role into which pitcher makes it longer into the game. That comes down just a bit low. Alex Levesque ready to throw down to first, though. 1-1 count here. Clovers donning their classic all whites. Oh, and they're going to catch them at second. Oh! It was a diving or jumping catch. It's going to result in them being safe. They're going to check in on Fisher Harrison to make sure he's all right. Alex Levesque there had him caught in between bases. The throw was just a bit high. Harrison committed to making it to second. 2-1 count now with a runner in scoring position in Harrison. That's going to get hit right in between left field and center field. That's going to bring Harrison home. And that's going to be a standing RBI double now for Luke Cannon.
Or Cannon.
A good response there for the Kinston Wingmen. Can't imagine that the team first in the division is going to go down so easily.
Exactly, John. I'm excited for the rest of this game. I think it's going to be very exciting.
I think we're in for a classic. These batters, I mean, they have been excellent at putting it right in the positions where fielders aren't. That one's hit again, right in between second base and the right fielder. Luke Cannon's going to hold up at third, so runners are going to be on the corners. No outs still.
Now batting, third baseman number 15, Cameron Way.
It's going to be 15. Cameron Way up to bat now. So with no outs, runners on the corners. He's got himself a pretty good chance here of getting something done. And if you're the Clovers, that's exactly what you want to see from Bullock. Despite everything going on, he's still able to find the strike zone with ease.
Yes, now is the time defensively to regroup.
That's going to get hit just above the pitcher. They'll collect that. Throw down to first.
Over to first.
He's out.
That's going to be an out, it seems.
First baseman number 24.
We're certainly close. I think some of the Clovers were expecting that to be tossed over to second to get the second baseman out. Nonetheless, another Wingman will score. Cuts the lead now just to a 3-run deficit. 6-3 as Cameron Balance now steps up. Strike number 1 comes in. That's another hard swing and miss, and suddenly Cameron Balance finds himself in an 0-2 count here. That's hit right towards the pitcher. Oh, but he throws it past the second baseman. They had a chance to turn 2, though. Oh, he made the catch. So it was out number 2. Had the chance to get the double play there. Overthrew, but Gamache will stay put at second base. And although Bullock's let 2 runs go this inning, we're now back up to that 2-out count. A hard swing and a miss. I mean, he has gotten them swinging at just about everything. The problem is when you've got them swinging so much, they're going to hit the ball every now and then.
That's true, John. And that's why the Wingmen have scored this inning.
Ball is low in the dirt. Now a 1-1 count. That's popped up. It's going right between second baseman and the pitcher. Zoltowski, shortstop, will make the count. Wingmen put up 2, but the Clovers remain in the lead by 3. They're up to bat next. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park. We've got ourselves a new pitcher on the mound here for the Kinston Wingmen. Noble's day is done. It's now going to be Landon Smith out of St. Andrews University, originally from Cove City, North Carolina. Interesting, he bats with his left but throws with his right.
I think that's a good decision by the way. Nobles, he's already at 62 pitches. That's a lot for only 3 innings.
Got to agree. Also, even for a just graduated out of high school, you're not going to be as used to the really high pitch count numbers, especially at a level like this. They expect a lot more out of you. I ultimately agree. Great decision by the Kinston coaching staff to get him out of the game now before the Clovers took advantage of it even more. Just looking at Landon Smith warm up, looking like he could be a dangerous pitcher. He's got a lot of up and down movement in these pitches.
You know, we've seen some of these second pitchers come in to these games for either teams, and they've been just as good as the starters, if not a little better.
Indeed. I feel like it's been very hit or miss. You don't see a lot of these second pitchers kind of in the middle. Like, I feel like these second pitchers either really keep it up or disaster strikes. And a lot of times you've been seeing these old North State League teams almost afraid to go to their second pitcher because we've seen so many runs come off them.
Saw that with the Gliders on Tuesday night.
Indeed. The catcher will have a quick meeting with Landon Smith. We're set to play. Don't know how long Landon Smith has been on the team, but I know for a lot of these, especially early season summer baseball league games, a lot of times some of the first words pitcher and catcher will speak to each other is when they step into the field to play. First one's going to be low here.
Now, that could either be because he's nervous or he was trying to get the batter to swing.
Absolutely. He got Dunlap to swing at that one, but it fouls out to the left side. Right side, excuse me. Jackson Dunlap, who drew a walk in his first at-bat today. That one's down low. Now a 2-1 count. Dunlap is definitely, as you were talking about, these Clovers with eyes. Dunlap is probably one of the most patient batters Clovers have. He'll hammer that one out to right side. Now a 2-2 count here. Now into a 3-2 count. This is one of the more bizarre full counts I've seen. Both strikes coming off of balls that Jackson Dunlap has absolutely crushed. They've just been foul. The others have all been in the dirt. And there's another foul ball. It seems like when this pitcher gives Dunlap something he wants to swing at, he is going to swing at it. That one's also foul. Looks like it could be in play, but just drifts out of play. A good souvenir for some lucky fans here today.
You know, John, barring a commentator's curse, it almost seems like this is going to end in Dunlap getting on base.
I was going to say that was a dangerous thing to say, but right after Dunlap draws the walk, that's 2 in a row for Dunlap. He'll reach base. And once again, that's another lead-off runner with no outs on the board.
I protected myself by saying barring commentator's curse.
More commentators around the world need to start doing that, as it clearly does protect them from all the dangers of a commentator's curse. JoJo Allen will swing heavy at that one and foul it off to the left side. 0-1 count here. Haven't looked into the advanced metrics here, but I feel like when the Clovers get somebody on base to start an inning, they tend to have a much, much better inning than even if they lead off with just an out, which sounds simple, but I feel like a lot of the teams the Clovers have faced will get that first out quickly, but can then suddenly race around the bases.
Of course, John, and that all goes back to momentum, as we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. Clovers tend to ride or die by the momentum. They have trouble hanging on if they don't have the momentum. That's a pretty deep hit ball into left field by JoJo Allen. Caught at the fence, though. So that's going to be out number 1. Yet to see a home run here at East Clayton Community Park. That was one of the closest we've seen so far. So now back to Alex Levesque, who got an RBI single his first time up.
I feel like if there was a favorable wind there, John, that would have been a home run.
I agree. They just needed a little more to carry that ball. I feel like with most of our games here at East Clayton Community Park so far, runner takes off for second. Jackson Dunlap's going to reach, and they're going to throw the ball past, so Dunlap goes in for third. He slides into third. Definitely was not as close as Jackson Dunlap thought. But now with one out on the board, Alex Levesque has a runner at third. Now, as I was saying, the weather here at East Clayton Community Park has not been overly favorable so far this season. Oftentimes, we've been seeing the wind blow in towards the infield. Comes in for ball number 2. Did you see that the defense suddenly started shifting towards the infield? Wondering if they are expecting Alex Levesque to go for a bunt or sacrifice something. They're ready to stop this run at home. He will hit it in the infield, but he'll slip it between the third baseman and shortstop. What a day so far for Alex Levesque. 2 straight RBI singles. Now a 7-3 game here.
We are seeing some offense, John.
There's a lot of offense today, and I think the winner of this game is going to be whoever does not slow down. Clovers oftentimes find themselves in early leads, but can slow down, get kind of complacent with where they're at, and can oftentimes lose that lead from there. But the Clovers now continuing this run. And that's a ball rocketed towards the shortstop. He'll get up and make a play. And they're going to call him safe on all ends. My goodness. And Kinston's going to protest. They thought that was out at second.
Oh, John, they got to be careful here. Can't get too complacent with the umpire.
No, you can't.
Especially this one, which we saw give a warning to Seth Bullock after the first batter was hit.
And they're giving their explanations now. Everybody here for Clayton is hit. Certainly a dangerous hit by Zoltowski, but shortstop made a phenomenal grab out there and was ready to make the play. It just was barely not in time. So we continue. Runners on first and second here. And Isaiah Thomas, the left fielder, now steps up. Now the Wingmen find themselves in a really dangerous position. Runners on first and second, but Isaiah Thomas, who got the bases loaded last time he was up. That comes on low for ball number 1. Comes in for ball number 2. Landon's been taking his time here in between pitches. He certainly does not want to put himself in a jam that he's found. But Isaiah Thomas is going to hit that towards left field. That's going to drop. It'll be a single on all ends. Everybody advances. Nobody comes home. So now Davey Morgan steps up. And ironically here, Will, we've seen the Clovers so tied to Davey Morgan's success. Davey Morgan is one of 2 batters to not reach base so far tonight.
It's very surprising, John.
Very surprising. And now the Clovers up 7-3. Morgan has the chance to change that. Morgan fouls that one. Still in play. They're going to look at it. They'll make the catch. So Davey Morgan gets a quick second out here for the Wingmen.
Center fielder number 17, Jack Stark.
So now Jack Stark steps up, who previously had an RBI single when the bases were loaded. Now finds himself in the same position, bases loaded, 2 outs on the board. It's almost identical to last inning so far. That's on the inside. Jack Stark's got to do a little dance to dodge. That also inside. Something Jack Stark has been phenomenal at so far this season is taking up the strike zone. He projects himself as very big, leans into the strike zone just a bit, makes it hard for pitchers to get these strikes on him. That ball is going to drop in front of the right fielder. They'll catch Isaiah Thomas. They're going to call him safe. Oh my goodness. Run comes home for the Clovers. Now 2 runs come home. A 9-3 game here for the Clovers. Jack Stark hit that just in front of the right fielder. Looked like Isaiah Thomas was rounding for third. Didn't realize how close it was, but had himself a good little dodge to get out of there. Will, what'd you see that?
It seemed like a out to me, John. I think we had some favorable umpiring in that one, but can't complain.
Mike Snyder's going to hit that ball straight up. They'll make the catch. That'll do it here for the bottom of the third, but not before the Clovers put up 3 of their own. Now up 6. It's 9-3, and we're going to the top of the 4th. Seen a lot of offense today. Maybe that'll continue. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
If you haven't noticed, it's been a very
Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park here, where the Clovers are doing just about everything on offense except hitting it out of the park. It's 9-3 coming in to the top of the fourth here, and we are seeing Seth Bullock come on the mound once
We go to
again.
the top of the fourth. Coming to the plate, the catcher, number 22, Chase Pierce.
It'll be Chase Pierce coming up to the plate. And the Wingmen need to continue to respond here if they want to stay in this game. That ball's hit just foul. Something I'm seeing here, Will, is the Clovers are almost playing mad. I think these last two games on the road weren't really the Clovers, and I think they're coming out to show us that even against the number one team in the division right now, they can go toe-to-toe with just about anybody.
And, you know, it's mad, but it's controlled, and that's the important thing.
Very important. As that's hit towards the third baseman, JoJo Allen will throw it off, and that's going to be a leadoff out here.
Number 1. Coming to the plate now, center fielder, number 8, S.J.
Seth Bullock will give JoJo his dues. Now S.J. Harris steps up to try and get something going for the Wingmen here as they find themselves in a quick out.
You know, John, with the two unfavorable calls for the Wingmen, I would be a little concerned that if there was a third, we could see some massive protests from their manager.
Certainly possible as that comes in for strike number 1. It's hard to tell from our angle, too. Players and umps clearly have the best angles of anybody here in the stadium. We're working with a one-camera setup, no replays or anything. 0-2 count here. Comes in for ball number 1. I always am curious how the manager, clearly they have a different angle than us. But it's funny to me sometimes when a manager can come out absolutely furious at an ump when the ump was right there. Now that's going to be a hit for S.J. Harris. He's reached base twice so far, once by a hit by a pitch. So Dawson Abels now steps up. The shortstop, he is 0 for 2 tonight. Both leadoff batters for both teams have been struggling. Now, one thing that is certainly clear, despite any calls, is the bats have been connecting for both teams here. Now, Kinston has to put the rest of the game behind him, as that is tipped up towards JoJo Allen. He'll make the couch. That's out number 2. Is the dogs are going crazy here at East Clayton Community Park. 2 outs on the board, and now Fisher Harrison steps up.
They just wanted to start their own offensive matchup, John.
I guess. They're saying, put me out on the pitch. On the field. What is this, soccer?
Maybe they want to pitch too.
Maybe. I'm not one to assume what sport a dog would prefer. That comes in just low for 1-0 count here. Seth Bullock seems to be having his way just a bit more with the Kinston lineup.
And you know, that dip down that I was talking about earlier that batters are worried about, we saw it right there from Bullock.
That's exactly why they keep swinging. So with 2 outs on the board, Kinston now is in danger of not having the wind in their sails. That being said, Fisher Harrison has worked up a calm 3-1 count here. He'll rocket that one. Grounds towards left field. That'll be a single.
From Harrison. With runners at first and second with 2 outs.
S.J. Harris advances to second. So now the Wingmen have a runner in scoring position as Luke Cannon steps up. Luke Cannon has been monumental in the Wingmen's offense so far, hitting a Mammoth RBI double.
It seems like the third or fourth time that the Wingmen have hit it between the shortstop and third baseman.
Clearly a very favorable spot. Ooh, that hits him on the back. That ball bounced all the way towards a fan. He seems to be all right, though, thankfully.
Cannon takes first on the hit.
And he'll go and take first as all of a sudden the
Loads the bases.
bases are loaded.
Number 18, Travis.
But with 2 outs, the margin of error here for the Wingmen is still very slim. They've got to get a hit or a walk if they want to score here.
Well, if I had to guess, if they were going to get a hit, it'd be between the third baseman and the shortstop.
Quite possible. That'll come down low. Now a 2-0 count. Definitely don't want to walk. Yeah, 2-0 count. Definitely don't want to walk your run in here. Got to make him work for it. He'll hit that one. And it's going to go past the second baseman. A run's going to score. 2 runs are going to score for the Wingmen here. Now runners on the corner. The offense is still blasting. Now the score is 9-5 here at East Clayton Community Park.
Coming to the plate, third baseman, number 15, Cameron Way.
A 2 RBI single for Travis Gamache as Cameron Way now steps up, who had an RBI sack earlier on the night.
And, that was Davey Morgan that missed the play. Just doesn't seem like his day.
Doesn't. And be one of the difficult things about baseball is there could be almost inexplicable reasons as runner will take off. And Alex Levesque will catch him at home. They threw down to second, didn't get him in time. Runner took off for home, but they will get him in time there. They'll keep the score 5-9 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park here. Wingmen are on their third pitcher of the night in just the bottom of the fourth inning here. They're going to turn to number 35, Josh Schwartz, out of the University of Mount Olive from Harrisburg, North Carolina. 6'2", 250 pounds. Has not pitched a lot at the University of Mount Olive. Only 1 appearance, 1 inning pitched, 1 walk, faced 5 batters, but did not allow anybody to score at a ERA of 0. Don't really know what to expect from Josh Schwartz here. Will, what do the Wingmen need to do here to lock down the Clovers batters?
Well, they've got to get them swinging. And to be honest, I don't know how you do. Well, swinging and missing.
Yeah, that is a very important.
Swinging and missing. And I'm not really sure how you do that with the eyes that we've seen from these batters from Clovers. Really, you've got to make them fear your pitches, and we just haven't seen that from any of the Wingmen yet.
First pitch comes right down the middle for strike number one. Exactly what they wanted there.
0-1.
Can be hard to make them fear your pitches when the rest of the game's gone how it has, but the way Josh Schwartz has come out and put up 2 straight strikes down the middle, he's going to start getting them swinging, I think. Moffat remaining as calm and patient as ever, despite finding himself down in the count to start.
It's remarkable.
That's way up high. That's going to get past the catcher. Nobody to advance, though. 2-2 count here.
Well, he had a hot start, but then 2 balls, so we'll see how it goes from here.
This is exactly what's dangerous about this Clovers lineup is they find themselves down in the count, but it doesn't matter. And they'll swing at that one. That's way up high. It's going to stay in play. Catcher's going to make it. That's out number 1. So an early out here for the Wingmen, which is key in their defense. But it still didn't come easy. Dunlap has drawn 2 walks so far tonight, and he is back up. The hometown kid, originally from Clayton, North Carolina, now goes to Chowan University. Sophomore there. And there's that swing that we were looking for, swing and a miss for strike number 1. He's had himself a pretty good career at University of Mount Olive, or at Chowan University so far. As another swing and a miss comes in, well, they've got him swinging now.
They have, and they've gotten off to a good start for the first time since the bottom of the first, and out on the first batter.
I'll check that swing, but it is strike 3. And all of a sudden, the Wingmen have found out what they need to do.
Now batting your third baseman, number 24,
Strikeout, a pop fly, 2 quick outs. Wingmen's prayers have been answered here. JoJo Allen is now up to bat. This game is far from over. Allen has been a pretty patient batter so far, but is yet to reach base. Works up a 2-0 count to start here.
This guy can absolutely rip it, John. I don't have a radar gun, but they look like heaters.
They absolutely do. I wonder if that's why we're seeing so many balls all of a sudden is he's starting to focus a lot on the speed, but not as much on the control. I mean, these things are flying down to the batter, but a 3-0 count nonetheless. He focuses up and finds the strike zone, though. 3-1. It's almost like they were listening in. And Josh Schwartz works up to a 3-2. What a remarkable battle back here. That's going to go high, though, and JoJo Allen's going to reach base for the first time tonight, drawing the walk. And now for Zach Slotolsky, he's got a runner to work with. Alex Levesque, excuse me, not Zach Slotolsky. Now Levesque, so far today, 2 singles, both with RBIs. Uh-oh, and JoJo Allen gets caught. He's going to try and work it, and he's going to reach back. No call yet. They're going to call him safe. Looks safe for my eye as well. This at-bat continues. Alex Levesque pointing down the person who tried to call him out from the crowd. Love the confidence from these Clovers. It's clear also that the friendships have been building as the season continues. They'll stand up for their guys, and you just love to see it from a team aspect, from a chemistry aspect. Josh Schwartz throws it right down the middle for strike number 1. And that's going to get past the catcher. JoJo Allen's going to make it to second. All of a sudden, Alex Levesque has the chance here to get his 3rd straight RBI single, barring a commentator's curse, of course.
Yes, of course.
Very-
Always protect yourself.
Very important to throw that in. Even moments like these, if Clovers walk away with still no runs, it's the moments like these that help wear down on the pitcher. It's not just a one-inning affair. You can start to bring down a pitcher's confidence at the end of a certain inning. That can carry over. That's going to get hit by Alex Levesque. Levesque is not going to beat the foot race. We are going to the top of the 5th. Clovers, for the first time since the first inning, do not score. Wingmen look to continue cutting into this lead. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park. Here's Seth Bullock coming up for his 5th inning of work. He's started to find his footing well, and despite the Wingmen putting up numbers, it's in very small increments so far.
Yeah, it's between the two teams. It's been a tale of 2 pitching stories. You know, we've seen 3 pitchers from the Wingmen. We've only seen 1 from the Clovers.
Absolutely.
We head to the top of the 5th, leading off the 3rd baseman, number 15.
Now it's going to be
Away.
one of the Camerons stepping up, the first Cameron. Only the first Cameron because he bats first. Cameron Way, who had an RBI sack at his last at-bat. Nobody there to give him an RBI. First pitch can come just a bit high for ball number 1. Seth Bullock keeping his strategy from last inning, keeping it right where you want batters swinging. And speaking of swinging, there it is, 1-1 count.
And that's exactly why we've seen him out there for so long, John.
Exactly. He's worked out a pretty efficient pitch count, too. Now a 2-1 count here for Cameron Way. Cameron Way out of Methodist University, playing third baseman tonight. Another hard swing and a miss, and it's a 2-2 count here. Cameron Way, who has made it to first and scored an RBI on his second at-bat. It's been a big part of this Kinston offense so far, and he works up a full count at this top of the fifth at-bat. And that's a hard swing and a miss down in the corner. Actually, at all he swung at that, he was being very patient with his swings. Seth Bullock had him right where he wanted him. That's Seth Bullock's second strikeout of the night. Now it's camera number 2. Has a good eye for ball number 1. That's fouled straight back. 1-1 count here. That's on the outside. We'll bring it up to a 2-1 count. Clovers, who have started hot on defense here, just start off this 5th inning. Looking to keep things going as that's way outside. Bullock kind of shakes his head in disapproval of himself there. And they'll call that a walk, I believe. So Cameron Balance will reach first base, and now 33 Trey Hartman's going to step up. He is out of the University of Charleston, West Virginia. In fact, his bio is probably one of the more confusing. University of Charleston, got to clarify West Virginia. It's from Baltimore, but you got to clarify Ohio.
Yeah, I'm not confused at all, John.
Trey Hartman, who is yet to reach base, a strikeout, then a pop fly. Seth Bullock's toying with him a bit, but the count will be 2-0. And that's on the outside. Now a very batter-friendly count. We've talked about it before. 3-0 count.
I feel like if we don't see Bullock get back in the zone real quick, we might see a mound visit.
Well, there's that strike that we were looking for. Definitely don't disagree. Be curious to see if it'll be the end of his night or not, if it happens. They definitely need him to find the zone here. And that's hit towards center field. And they'll be under it. Jack Stark was under it. That's out number 2 here. That's got to help Seth Bullock's confidence a lot. But nonetheless, Alex Levesque's going to come out here, have a quick word with him.
Yeah, his defense behind him, barring a few plays that haven't been too costly, has been very good.
Very, very good. And that's kind of a signature of the Clovers defense so far, is when the pitcher isn't throwing straight strikeouts, he's relying on his field. And for the most part this season, they've been able to get that job done. Now in a very offensive-heavy game like this, not much you can do with the field when you consistently hit between the third baseman and the shortstop. That's a good swing and a miss for strike 1. It's like a half swing. He really committed to it, but then realized as he was going just how far outside it was. Instead, that one will be on the inside this time. Seth Bullock got to keep him on his toes. Now a 2-1 count here. 2 outs on the board. That one just a bit inside. Now a 3-1 count for Chase Pierce, originally from Brunswick Community College. He'll hit that one. It's going to be a race. Garrett Moffitt's going to take a dive for it. He's not going to be able to make the play. That's going to be a double. Runner will stay at third.
Pierce puts runners at second and third. Again,
so with a 2-out double here, the Wingmen are knocking on the door, telling the Clovers that they could continue slicing into this lead.
It's exactly what I'd expect from the first place division team.
Yeah, no, you don't expect him to go down easy, and they certainly are making the Clovers work for it. Clovers who put up 9 runs on an excellent showing of offense so far. Reality is when you put up 9 runs, even early in the game, you got to keep playing defense. Keep your offense in the game in case things go slow. You don't want them to go slow, but sometimes with baseball, you don't exactly get a choice.
Sometimes they bring in a pitcher that can shut you down.
The Clovers will definitely have their work cut out with them with Josh Schwartz. They'll have to wear him down as they continue on in this game if they want to keep putting up runs. Now we strike 2. I think we're also nearing the end here of Seth Bullock's showing. Even if he goes another inning or so, I can't imagine with his pitch count and with the patterns of these innings that they'll keep him out for too much longer. So that's hit towards right center field. Garrett Moffitt will be under it. That's going to be an excellent way to close out that inning with the Wingmen stranding 2 in scoring position. Clovers remain unscathed. They're leading 9-5. They're up to bat next. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
Days of much needed rest for the Clovers.
Josh Schwartz takes the mound for his second inning of work.
In Elizabeth City, the Clovers return home Friday night.
Schwartz, who had himself a pretty effective inning,
City Skippers. Go online
only walked 1.
to reserve your tickets for this great Old North
Clovers
State
had a
League
chance
showdown.
there to possibly put a run on the board, but with 2 outs, wasn't much more they could do, and Schwartz was able to shut down the inning. Now they come in, continuing trying to shut down Schwartz.
Bottom of the 5th.
It's going to be Zach Slotulski up to bat first.
Leading off the bottom of the field for your Clovers, your shortstop, number 6, Zach Slotulski.
Slotulski has reached base both times he's been up to bat, once by a walk, once by a single. It's actually a pretty dangerous single towards the shortstop. First one comes down for a strike. Schwartz showing why he is so dangerous on the mound. And he makes Slotulski swing on pitch number 2. Now an 0-2 count here. Now it's time for the Clovers to start battling back. Only problem is when Schwartz is throwing so close to the zone, how do you choose? That was probably an easy decision not to swing, however. It's now a 1-2 count.
John, I would love to have a radar gun right now to see how
know.
fast he's pitching.
Because these pitches seem to just be flying off the hand. They're going to call that as drop strike 3, I believe. That's going to be out number 1. And Zach Slotulski heads back to the dugout. Now Isaiah Thomas steps up to the plate. These might be some of the fastest pitches these Clover batters have seen all season. Thomas will show bunt. will not follow through. 1-0 count here. That one's up high, so after Josh Schwartz starts off super strong, he throws 2 straight balls here.
We saw that last inning.
We did. That's when the Clovers started to take advantage just a bit. I think he's really locked in for that first batter. That's all of a sudden a 3-0 count here for Isaiah Thomas. Now, Isaiah Thomas has followed exactly what Zach Zoltolski has done. Walk for a walk, a single for a single. And that pattern will break here as Isaiah Thomas is going to make it to first on a drawn walk. He's reached base all 3 times so far. Now Davey Morgan steps up to the plate. Davey Morgan's parents are here tonight. They are celebrating their 29th wedding anniversary. Very impressive mark to hit. Glad they could be here with us tonight. Following as Davey Morgan is now up to bat. That comes in as strike number 1. Morgan now has Isaiah Thomas on first base to work with. Now Morgan has been unable to reach base so far today.
Hump seems to be fixing his mask, John.
I believe so. Allowed Morgan a glove adjustment. Runner's going to take off to second. Catcher will not find the ball in time. Isaiah Thomas goes ahead and steals second. Now Davey Morgan has an opportunity here with a runner in scoring position at second. It's a 1-1 count here.
The base stealing tonight by the Clovers has been exceptional.
Really has. They've been dangerous on the base paths. Not just tonight, but even all season. Really highlighting that against the Gliders. Morgan's going to hit that into play. It's going to bounce off the third baseman. Davey Morgan's going to have himself a single. Isaiah Thomas is going to stay put at second. Clearly a very smart decision as it was right at the third baseman. So with 1 out, Clovers now have runners on first and second.
Brings to the plate. Your center fielder number
It's going to be
17, Jack Stark.
Jack Stark now. Started off the night with a strikeout, then followed through with RBI single and then a double RBI single. A lot of these Clovers have been fantastic tonight. He'll bunt. It'll be a foul ball, though.
Did not leave the batter's box.
Did not.
The only prescription is more cowbell. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So now with that, with Davey Morgan's hit, every Clovers batter has reached base in some way or another. And I believe, as I double check this, the only Clover to not reach on a hit was JoJo Allen, who just drew his first walk last inning.
Well, some say the most important thing in baseball is getting on base.
I would say it's not really the hitting that matters, as Isaiah Thomas tries to juke his way out of getting caught. He got very close there, but that will be out number 2.
Everybody clap your hands.
So now Jack Stark only has Davey Morgan on first to work with here.
Everybody clap
You know,
your
John,
hands.
I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher come that far off the mound to chase down a
He
runner.
came off very far. He was definitely pretty confident, but I feel like that could lead to some dangerous situations if the runner pulls something sneaky. It's going to come down. Davey Morgan was teasing a steal there. Had the catcher ready. 1-0 count here now for Jack Stark. They'll go and check on Davey Morgan first. To no avail. Still a 1-0 count here. Will take off this time. Catcher's going to lose the ball. He still doesn't know where it is. But Davey Morgan will remain at second. Davey with a stolen base. And a 2-0 count here for Jack Stark. They're going to have a quick meeting with Schwartz. Well, I think the way they've gotten Schwartz off their game here, instead of hitting, instead of trying to get him to throw balls, they've been trying to throw him off his game by just leaving the base, by tempting him.
And he caught one of them, but they're just going to keep doing it.
It's clear. I mean, it's clear that it's, like we said earlier, it may not work this inning in particular. However, if they continue wearing down Schwartz, they're going to pay dividends eventually with that. And Davey Morgan's going to steal on that one. That got past the pitcher. Jack Stark showed bunt. Now they're going to talk about whether or not that was a foul or not.
I don't think he made contact.
I don't think he made contact either. So that stolen base by Davey Morgan will remain. He's on third now. It's a 3-1 count for Jack Stark. So Stark, who went from runners on first and second, went to runners on first, to runners on second, to now runners on third. Clovers are showing off a wide range of talents here. And they're going to call that strike 3 on Jack Stark on the upper outside corner. That'll end the inning. Clovers will strand Davey Morgan on third. We are going to the top of the sixth, and we've got ourselves a game, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. We come to the top of the sixth here, and the Clovers finally turn to help on the mound after 5 complete innings by Seth Bullock. It's going to be Matthew Chisholm, number 0, by way of Fuquay Varina, goes to UNC Pembroke. He is one of the newer additions here to this Clovers roster, so Alex Levesque familiarizing himself with the pitches that Chisholm may be able to deliver on. And it's the leadoff man for the Kinston Wingmen, number 3, Dawson Abels. That's going to be low and outside, ball number 1.
Bullock gave up some runs, but it really was overall a good performance by him tonight.
I would agree. Despite the runs he gave, had himself a handful of strikeouts, was very effective on his moving, like just throughout the night. And now Matthew Chisholm's just searching for the strike zone for this first time. And there it is. 2-1 count here for Matthew Chisholm. I've always said that when these relief pitchers come in, oftentimes the hardest thing you can do is throw that first strike. And with it, now a hit towards the shortstop. Zoltowski will throw off to Jackson Dunlap. Excellent throw to Dunlap, and that's out number 1. Just another reason why these pitchers are so reliant on this field.
Brings to the plate now for Kinston. Second baseman number 2, Fisher Harrison.
It's a good way to get your new pitcher settled into the game.
Very much so. When he knows he can rely on you, a lot of pressure is taken off of him. Now Fisher Harrison steps up to the plate. It's going to be just a bit low. Fisher Harrison, who has had 2 straight singles, he's looking to continue that pattern. That one comes right down the middle for strike number 1. And there's strike 2. Matthew Chisholm's starting to find his footing here.
He's found that little dip pitch into the top of the strike zone.
Oh, yeah, and that can be one of the more effective pitches here. Does it again, just off the mark, though. 2-2 count. That one's outside. Now a 3-2 count. So Fisher Harrison finds himself in his first full count of the night. And that pitch had a ton of movement. That's a strikeout for Matthew Chisholm, his first of the night. Excellent way to bounce back after throwing some of those balls. Now Luke Cannon steps up, and with 2 outs on the board and nobody on bases, things are not looking great this inning for the Wingmen. That ball's hit. That's going to be a base hit now for
Cannon with the 2 out single, puts the runner at first base for the left fielder now, number 18.
Cannon has had 4 hits tonight.
A monster of a game.
Absolutely a monster. He is almost single-handedly keeping the Wingmen in this game. He had 3 singles and a double RBI. Now it's Travis Gamache, who had himself a 2 RBI single last time he was up at bat. It's all about how you respond after that first hit. At the end of the day, almost any pitcher is going to give up a hit. So now that he's got to remember, he's got 2 outs on the board, a lot of room to work with here. And that one's just a bit low for ball number 2. That one fouled straight back, brings up to a 2-1 count now. Now it's time for Chisholm to start battling back here. He's gotten a strike back up on the board. 3-1 count now for Matthew Chisholm. And this offensive game has started to slow down a bit as that one's fouled. That'll bring the count up to full. Seen a lot of drama for not a lot of runs in this past inning so far.
A lot of high intensity defensive plays, John.
Absolutely. Some stolen bases here and there, some runners caught. Runner's going to take off. Nobody won't matter though, as it's ball number 4.
Runners at first and second for the third baseman, number 15.
So now with
Way.
runners at first and second, it's going to be Cameron Way stepping up to the mound now. Cameron Way, who struck out in his last at-bat, courtesy of Seth Bullock. Now it's his first time facing off against Matthew Chisholm. That first pitch comes just in for strike number 1. Exactly what you want to see if you're Chisholm. That one comes sailing across, but it's just on the outside. Now a 1-1 count here. 1-1 count, 2 outs on the board, runners on first and second. That one comes outside for ball number 2. After having such a great inning to start with, you really don't want to load the bases all of a sudden with 2 outs.
Absolutely not, especially when it's only a 4-run game.
Every run matters at this point, especially as we get into crunch time. That's hit towards the third baseman. That's going to get past him. Runner's going to slip around third, though. So no runs will score. That 2-out single is going to load the bases up. So Cameron Balance now steps up to the mound. Bases loaded, 2 outs. That could have been a lot worse for the Clovers. Something in the dirt over there as JoJo Allen slipped trying to get the ball, and then I believe it was Luke Cannon that slept around. Comes in for strike number 1.
And the Clovers caught a bit of fortune there with Cannon's slip, because
Absolutely.
I think he would have scored.
He absolutely would have scored, and I think there would have been a threat for 2, depending on how casual they were picking up that ball out in left field. Now, I have to imagine when catchers have these one-on-one meetings with pitchers, catchers, more than anybody, are seeing what these batters like and what they don't like throughout the entire game. Pitchers come and go. Sometimes batters come and go. But the catchers, they see it all. So I got to imagine when he comes up there to Chisholm, he's letting them know, hey, this person, maybe likes a curveball, doesn't like a fastball, something like that. And whatever nugget of wisdom he just gave him clearly worked there for strike number 2. And that's going to be fouled out towards the left side. Count remains 0-2 here with 2 outs on the board. Wingmen have a chance here to cut into this lead. So with 2 outs on the board, they have not a lot of room for error here. That's outside now, a 1-2 count.
What's remarkable about this situation, though, John, is the Clovers have just equal opportunity to get out, giving up nothing.
Exactly. And when you've got an opportunity like that, it's moments like this that are going to decide today's game. Who wants it more? Clovers with the opportunity to take down the number 1 team in the division, and the Wingmen have the chance to continue to pad this lead, but that's going to be a drop strike 3. That's how you do it. Clovers will strand 3 on base. They get out once again unscathed. We're going on to the bottom of the 6th inning here. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back in here to East Clayton Community Park. Will, in a stunning turn of events, the Wingmen pull out Schwartz. They've turned to new help in Wade Jarman.
I'm not really sure why. It seemed like Schwartz was doing a pretty good job. You know, the Clovers didn't score any runs while he was on the mound.
Possible Schwartz was getting tired. He let his coach know without letting any of us know. Always a possibility. Nonetheless, now Wade Jarman on the mound and Mike Snyder at the plate. This is a game that could have massive inclinations on the future of the division here. Because the Wingmen, they dropped a game last night, put them at 3-1. Clovers only 2 games behind, have an opportunity here to catch a game up automatically. Mike thinks about swinging at that one, but has a good eye. Now a 2-1 count here for Snyder. That one fouled straight back. Feel like that's the 4th or 5th ball fouled straight back at our faces. Got the entire media bench here flinching every single time.
Very, very thankful for the fence.
Very, very thankful. Good, thick chain link. It's exactly what we needed. That ball is rocking out towards the left-hand side. That's going to be a base hit for Mike Snyder.
Snyder with a leadoff shot.
Now Garrett Moffitt up to the plate after that leadoff hit by Mike Snyder. Every time we've seen a leadoff hit here, Clovers have put something on the board. That'll come in for strike number 1. Moffitt has been so patient throughout all of today. And that's another swing and a miss there for Garrett Moffitt. And Wade Jarman, for not being listed as a pitcher, is having a very controlled pitch so far.
Honestly, with how they play their pitchers, I wouldn't be surprised if all their players were pitchers, John.
All of them can pitch, all of them can hit. That's what can make it so dangerous. Nonetheless, though, Clovers retain a 9-5 lead here. Silence falls over the crowd here at East Clayton Community Park as Wade Jarman is taking his time. And Moffitt's going to foul that one up. That's going to come real close to some fans. Luckily, everyone is okay. Some kids will chase after that. Remains a 1-2 count here. That's going to come up high. A fantastic eye. Hard swing and a miss from Moffitt. He's frustrated with himself. That's out number 1 now for the Clayton Clovers. So with Moffitt striking out, Mike Snyder makes it the first. Now Jackson Dunlap steps up to the plate. I was incorrect in what I said earlier. Both Jackson Dunlap and JoJo Allen both have not hit so far today. They've both drawn some walks. And they've both popped flying or grounded out. That's going to be fouled towards the left side. Now an 0-1 count here. Wade Jarman looks to keep this thing alive. Runner's going to take off. Not that it's going to matter as Jackson Dunlap gets pegged in the hip.
Man can't get a hit because he's been hit.
He's been hit, and he continues to just play the game well at the plate. I don't know if you saw there. Mike Snyder was ready to jog back to first. He thought it was foul. But the chorus of "he got hit" from the dugout lets him know he can stay there. Now, JoJo Allen steps up to the plate. Only one out on the board. Runners on first and second. It's been quite the game so far here at East Clayton Community Park. A ton of offense, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a pitcher's duel as that one's just fouled to the left side.
Little meeting here, John.
And if you're the Wingmen, if you want to win this game, you cannot put up with getting runners on base. If the Clovers continue to score here, they're just going to continue to deflate the Wingmen. And I think the catcher knows that. He is really trying to get Wade Jarman here to start swinging momentum the right way for the Wingmen. That one will come just a bit low, evens up the count at 1-1. Now 1 strike, 1 ball, and 1 out on the board here as the Clovers look to extend this lead. Oh, and that goes above the catcher. Runners are going to advance. Jackson Dunlap and Mike Snyder make it to second and third. Don't think the catcher expected it to pop up quite like that. And here comes another meeting. Not seeing the pitching coach come out. So it's just going to be the catcher and pitcher once again.
And you know, John, it's important to note that the Clovers face the Wingmen in Kinston tomorrow.
Wow, I did not realize that. So a quick home and home series here with the Wingmen. Clovers look to jump up to a 1-0 lead over that series. So this opens things up a lot, because if the Clovers can win both tonight and tomorrow, all of a sudden they'll find themselves first in the division. And after that slow start, what else can you ask for Clayton? They've got their full strength on the roster. They'll drop a few games here and there, so is baseball, but Clovers really have the opportunity in their hands here to take advantage of the situation. And JoJo Allen will swing at that one, brings the count up to full 3-2. Now, for it being such a high-energy game at first, I think the energy's kind of been sucked out of the stadium after we've gone into a pitcher's duel. It's not the pace that the fans here were expecting or were used to.
Well, people want to see the hits and the running and the scoring.
Absolutely.
Everybody
This
clap
game
your
is still
hands.
no less exciting, though.
Come on, y'all.
So we find ourselves locked in a battle here between Wade Jarman and JoJo Allen. That's going to be outside. JoJo Allen's going to reach, and with 1 out on the board, the bases are now going to be loaded for the Clovers. Wade Jarman's pitched himself into a bit of a pickle here.
Catcher number 4, Alex. What up?
It's going to be the catcher now. Up to try and get some of those single RBIs he got so used to at the beginning of the game. Found himself a bit of bad luck at his last at-bat. But he is responsible for a large portion of this lead here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him continue that as that first ball comes in up high for ball number 1.
And if there's a base hit here, John, I would expect the crowd to go a little wild.
Oh, and that's rocketed out towards the first baseline, but drifts just foul. I agree. I think a good hit here could really get the crowd energized again and get them back into this thing. Call me crazy. I think a good out here all but seals the game for Clayton. I think if you are able to build that momentum, get the crowd back into it, as long as you can continue riding that momentum, things will be all right. That ball is going to get, I think it bounced off the catcher's glove. He got to it fast enough, though. No runners will advance.
Yeah, John, what you were saying earlier, I think one run will probably have the door creaked to just about shut. 2 runs will probably close it.
And if I'm not going to say it till after this at-bat, but one particular thing the Clovers have been missing this whole season so far can all but seal it. Now they find themselves in a 3-1 count here. Alex Levesque, 1 out on the board. A walk scores another run. No call time.
Now, of course, to protect ourselves, barring some miracle comeback by the Wingmen.
Of course.
With the lead protected, as we were discussing earlier.
It's all about protecting that momentum as that's fouled. Now a 3-2 count here. We've got ourselves another battle. The Clovers have not allowed these pitchers to get off easy. They've worn them down, despite how well some of the pitchers have shut down. In particular, Schwartz really was able to shut down the Clovers batters. They still wore him down and got him out in under 2 innings. When you're able to play baseball like this, it pays dividends, especially in some of these longer series. And that's going to be Alex Levesque striking out. That was the best case scenario here if you're the Wingmen. Because now runners are stranded on their bases. You got 2 outs. You need a hit or a walk.
Number 6, Z-Square, Zach Zoltowski.
Now Zach Zoltowski's going to step up. Zoltowski, who has been a hero already for the Clovers this season, found himself in a walk-off position, bottom of the 10th inning. Was able to hit a clean one just past the shortstop. He'll hit that one. Oh, right to the second baseman. They're not going to be able to make the play. That's another run for the Clovers. That's an RBI single for Zach Zoltowski. That might be probably judged as an error on the second baseman if I had to guess.
I have that down as an error, John.
So, in E4 allows Zach Zoltowski to score or get an RBI there. Now back up to Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, who has been playing the pitchers like fiddles all night long. He has reached base all 3 times so far tonight. He'll hit that one high, just out of the infield. That'll be a catch. The Wingmen allow the Clovers to put up another on board, but hold back a wave of runs. We're going to the top of the 7th. Clovers lead 5, but this game is far from over. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park. Clovers Can't tell if it's the same pitcher on the mound, but they're looking. It is the same pitcher on the mound. Had himself a pretty effective last inning. Kept the Wingmen from scoring. Now he looks to continue to do the same. As strike number 1 rings in here for number 33. It's Trey Hartman on the plate here. And he finds himself in a quick 0-2 count.
I'll be real interested to see what goes on tomorrow in Kinston.
Absolutely. So many different possibilities. That's going to be a fantastic strikeout for Matthew Chisholm. That's a quick out number 1. The Clovers are letting the division first placers hear it right now. They are not letting these guys down easy as the Clovers seek to overtake that position themselves. Good read there by Chase Pierce. Pierce, who had himself a double last time he was up, now works up an 2-0 count, excuse me. He is 1 for 2 on the night so far with a hit by pitch as well. It's looking like he has the opportunity here to draw himself a walk as well. That'll come down for strike 1, though. An excellent battle back by Chisholm. 3-1 count here. 1 out on the board. Nobody on base. That one's going to be outside, and Pierce is going to draw the walk. So now with 1 out on the board, the Wingmen have somebody on first. What do you think they're saying in the Wingman dugout right now?
Possibly that they need to be a little more patient, which probably paid off for, well, it did pay off for Pierce, because he got a walk.
That patience is definitely something the Wingmen need to work on here if they want to win this game. Clovers are absolutely in the power position here. And Matthew Chisholm continuing that as they now build up to an 0-2 count.
And, you know, we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast how the Clovers were looking to bounce back. The Wingmen, if they lose this game, they'll be looking to bounce back tomorrow. And that's something that the Clovers will have to look out for.
Wow!
A controversial call there. Be called a ball, 2-2. Clayton natives were not happy to hear that one.
It's a great pitch.
That's going to be outside. Matthew Chisholm needs to regain his control here, otherwise he's going to end up walking 2 in a row. That's just inside. That's going to be 2 walks in a row here for Chisholm. So now with 1 out, runners are on first and second.
You know, I said the door is creaked with that run that was added last time.
Door is absolutely creaked, but just because it's creaked doesn't mean that it is shut.
Exactly. Because as we see, we've got 3 potential runs up for the Wingmen.
Absolutely. So now we are back up to the leadoff man, Dawson Abels. He'll take the first one down low for ball number 1. And Landry Moore is going to come out in the dugout here to have a meeting with Matthew Chisholm. Chisholm, who had himself a very productive last inning.
Pitch is thrown.
Finds himself in just a bit of a pickle here. He's been throwing some phenomenal pitches, though. The calls just have not necessarily been going his way.
But the statistics have shown, John, that slowing down the
Fans,
game
don't forget, next ball game,
helps the
next home game.
defense.
It definitely does. It definitely does. So you got to
Got
have that meeting. Got to let him know, hey, we see what you're throwing. We're confident in you. So now just a 1-0 count here. But with one out on the board. 2 runners on bases. That's going to be on the outside. Ball number 1 rings in. Just a bit outside. Chisholm's got to be careful here.
And,
3-0 count.
with how this inning's been going, I feel like the score is going to be a lot closer than
I
it is
think
right
you
now.
might be right.
Final score.
As we've said, this game is clearly not over. As strike 1 rings in there, we could be in for a very exciting finish here with how both teams are playing. We've had a very exciting game in general. That's going to ring down the middle for a strike, too. Chisholm not letting those balls get ahead of him there. He is locked in all of a sudden. Full count here.
I think he heard me and he said,
It's quite possible. And as that's just low.
Elias throws the walk, loads the bases with 1 out.
That's going to be a walk.
Number 2,
So now
Fisher
here comes
Harrison.
Fisher Harrison. Bases are loaded, just 1 out on the board. Clovers have found themselves in this position multiple times now. Have usually managed to get out of it, drawing minimal damage. Now it is crucial for them to continue to be able to do so. That one's hit down in right center field. 1 run's going to come home.
So now the,
And
single for
Kinston
Harrison.
gets back on the board now. Bases remain loaded. Everyone advanced just once. So now Luke Gannon steps up.
I was
And
saying,
here comes Landry Moore again. Sorry to cut you off there, but this might be the end here of Chisholm's night.
no worries, John. I was just going to say I was getting used to the Clovers' Harry Houdini act of escaping.
Absolutely. That will be done for Chisholm's night. But you are so right in that. The Clovers found themselves in a lot of situations so far. Managed to get themselves out of a lot of them. Even if they let a run or 2 go, they had enough of a lead that it didn't matter. But now as we get towards the end of the game, every run here matters. So even if you let 1 or 2 go, if you let 1 or 2 go every inning, you're going to find yourself in a tie ball game heading into the bottom of the ninth.
I really think this is going to be a 1 to 2 run game in the final score.
It definitely may be. Stepping up and to the mound now is number 23, Whit Branham. Branham, this will be, I believe, his 4th appearance of the season so far. Branham has been a very solid relief pitcher. Not quite been a closer for the a closer for the Clovers. Say that 3 times as fast. Now, he has been excellent at being able to set up the closer and getting a lot of strikeouts. They've turned to Whit Branham a lot in some of these jams.
So hard to bring in a pitcher when the bases are loaded.
It absolutely is, but at the same time, it was clear that Chisholm was going to let a few runs go, so it was time to switch. So now as Whit Branham continues warming up, just as a reminder, we got bases loaded here. 1 out on the board. The Kinston Wingmen have already put up 1 run so far this inning. They've got the tying run at the plate right now. So now in steps Luke Cannon. Cannon listed as a pitcher here for the Kinston Wingmen, as we've talked about. Clearly they have some high utility players. Now, I think it's also important to notice that Luke Cannon goes to Campbell University, who have had themselves not only a heck of a season, but I believe they're playing South Carolina right now to make it to a super regional, as he'll hit that one straight up. That'll be caught.
Infield fly is the call. 2 outs in the inning.
So, that infield fly was deadly for the Kinston Wingmen, because it does not allow one of the runners to come home, and now it puts them at 2 outs. So once again, they need a hit or a walk here to put another run up.
It may not be a complete escape act, John, but one that the Clovers will take with the bases loaded if they can get it done.
Houdini has himself chained up, and he has the key. That's going to get past. Houdini is not going to make an appearance today, as the Clovers allow another run to score. It's now a 7-10 game. And now for the Clovers, it is just as important as ever to lock down on this pitching.
And speaking of that Campbell game, John, that has ended 16-7 in favor of South Carolina.
My goodness, so a high-scoring game. I would not mind the same final score here at Clayton.
Don't think it's going to happen, John.
You may not, but you never know.
It's true.
Baseball is what dreams are made of. As Whit Branham comes in for pitch number 2 and evens up the count at 1-1. 2 outs on the board here. The Clovers just need to get out as soon as possible. That'll go a long way in doing it with strike 2. And Clover Nation starting to get into it just a little bit more. They're backing their guy in Branham, as that's going to get hit towards first baseman Jackson Dunlap with a fantastic catch. That's going to wrap up the inning. The Clovers lead by 3 now, heading into the bottom of the 7th. This time for the 7th inning stretch. Clovers, they need everything left in the tank to close out this game. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball.
If you don't have a winning ticket, I'm going home with 29.
Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park here. The Kinston Wingmen have turned to new help once again. They're on their 5th batter of the night, number 19, Logan Merritt. Merritt, who is also listed on the roster as the infielder, only solidifying our theory here that every single player on the Wingmen can bat or pitch. clearly why they are so dangerous, and they have cut into the lead just enough to start making Clovers fans around the country here sweat.
And, switching again makes me wonder if they're trying to save some arms for tomorrow, thinking ahead.
Especially with the length they've only been pitching them. This game is so clearly a huge factor. So now Davey Morgan's going to step back up to the plate. And it is imperative here that the Clovers start figuring out some solutions, either on offense or defense. These small increments worked when we were putting up tons and tons of runs. But with the runs slowing down, the Wingmen also have to start slowing down. That's going to be inside. Davey Morgan misses it by a hair. Ball number 1. And that ball's going to get hit towards the shortstop. It'll be a long throw. It's a foot race. They're going to call him out. So that's out number 1 to lead off this inning.
Your center fielder, number 17, Jack.
Now Jack Stark's going to step up to the mound here. And with Davey Morgan getting out there, this window for the Clovers is getting even tighter. Stark will show bunt there.
The door, by no means, is near shut.
It is not even cracked shut anymore. I'd say the door is decently open right now. Jack Stark will think about swinging at that one, but it'll come right down the middle. Now a 1-1 count. Now a 1-1 count. 1 out on the board. Nobody on bases here for the Clovers. That's going to come outside, but just in enough for strike number 2.
I hate to pick on the officials a little bit, but some fans have made it known the strike zone seems to be a little inconsistent.
Something I think that catchers have been excellent at so far tonight is their framing as well. They've been so good at putting the ball wherever they please, which I think has helped a lot with some of these counts. That count remained 2-2 with Jack Stark's foul. So as they retrieve the ball, we have a short break.
But I think the umpires, on a whole, have been really good tonight.
I would agree. It's hard officiating a game such as this, especially when chaos just ensues from the second the first pitch is thrown. That's outside. That'll bring it up to a 3-2 count here.
And to add to that, John, they only have 2 umpires.
It can be difficult to see the whole field of play. That's going to be outside. Jack Stark draws a walk now. So a 1-out walk here for Jack Stark. And now Mike Snyder steps up to the plate. I have to say, Snyder's walk-up song hypes me up every time he steps up to the plate. Doesn't matter if it's the first inning, the 5th inning, 7th inning, game's on the line, or what. It's an excellent walk-up song.
Huge song for a huge man.
Absolutely. Huge song for a huge man and a huge playmaker. Full foul, that one. Mike Snyder once again finds himself in that 0-2 count, but as we've seen multiple times today, he doesn't care about that 0-2 count.
He's as confident as could be.
He has every reason to have that confidence. That's going to come down low, and here's the start to that battle. 1-2 count here. Runner's going to take off. Ooh, that sounded like it hit off the mask. He seems to be fine, though. Jack Stark's going to have to come back to first base because of that foul. Count remains 1-2.
Oh, we're going to have a visit here. Nope,
Maybe not.
maybe not. The ump called it off. Said, let's play on.
I know sometimes umps will give catchers, especially after they've been hit, a little time to recuperate by whatever means necessary. Now come inside now, 2-2. Actually, that was called strike 3.
Right fielder number 10, Garrett Moffitt.
That's going to be out number 2 as Garrett Moffitt steps up.
Damn, baby, on my knees a little bit.
Come on down low for ball number 1 here. So the Clovers with 2 outs on the board, only a runner on first. Things could be looking like we're heading to the top of the 8th with the same score. As runner will take off. He will more than make it as the ball gets past the catcher.
Seems like this game can just change at any moment.
Absolutely. One swing of the bat on either side can seal this game for either side. Pitcher will take his time on this. And that's a hard swing and a miss for Moffitt. Now a 2-1 count here for Moffitt. Pitcher will continue checking on Stark as that's hit right between the third baseman and shortstop. Jack Stark's going to come home. The throw is not going to be in time. Jack Stark is going to score. And the Clovers, with 2 outs on the board, get things moving once again. This 2-out scoring, Will, is just ridiculous.
It is, but it shows how clutch each team is. They get into a pressure situation and they deliver. Now, Clayton has delivered a little bit more, obviously, but
That they have. I'm sure they will look to continue to do so.
makes me excited for the game tomorrow night as well.
Absolutely. You can tune in at the same place. Either search up Old North State League on YouTube or on their socials. Find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. What a game this has been so far. Full of ups and downs. I feel like we've said that a lot, but this game, every inning, just proves it even more why this is just a fantastic baseball game. The weather is just about perfect. A little cool for a summer night, but better than sitting there boiling on the bleachers.
And we've still got 2 innings to go.
We've still got 2 exciting innings to go. That's hit right at the dugout. Made almost the entire dugout flinch. And I do not blame him because the velocity of that ball as it exited Jackson Dunlap's barrel was astonishing. And that is hit off. Count remained 2-2. I think an underrated player for the game so far is absolutely going to come down to Schwartz. Schwartz was throwing absolute heat. He shut down the Clovers when the Clovers refuse to be shut down. As that's hit towards the second baseman, he's going to drop it. That's going to be no plays when they could have had two. The Clovers keep this inning alive. Runners on first and second now.
I think that goes down as an error. So
I would believe so. They absolutely could have gotten it out there, but the second baseman for the second time tonight just did not secure it with his glove. That's going to come down low for ball number 1 here.
that could have been the third out.
That easily could have been the third out. Either from the second baseman or the first baseman. They had choices of where they wanted that third out to be. But instead, this Clovers offense remains at the plate. That's going to get hit way high up, just outside of the infield. They'll make the couch. There's that third out we were looking for. Clovers put up 1. The Kinston Wingmen have 2 more chances here to tie up the game. We're going to the top of the 8th inning. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Whit Branham taking the mound for his second inning. One of the things we touched on in pregame was consistency. Will, just how consistent have the Clovers been so far today?
They've been very consistent. You know, they've given up runs, but they've been off base hits. And there's been no bad mistakes in terms of fielding. Sure, they've missed the ball when it's gone in between the holes of the infield, but nothing egregious.
Absolutely not. And the offense has kept up with the defense, and a lot of times when you're working with the same players on offense and defense, it's really up to them to keep that going. It's a lot different in football when the offense should score a number of points to keep their defense, in the game. They're keeping themselves in the game right now, and with a 11-7 run in the top of the 8th inning, it's important noting that yesterday in their game against Edenton Steamers, they let an 8-run inning go in the bottom of the 7th. So if they can keep that consistency up, the Clovers will be golden here. So that's hit just fair down the third baseline. JoJo Allen took a hard dive for it, was unable to grab it. They're going to throw it down to second. It's going to be close, but he's going to be safe. A lead-off double here for the Wingmen. And this is exactly why they are still in this game. They refuse to give up.
This game is by no means over.
By no means whatsoever. You hear us really trying to get away from that broadcaster's curse as possible, because really this game has been anything but predictable so far.
And it's been fun to watch.
So much fun to watch. And if you are a fan of high volume offense, baseball, this is the game you were waiting for. Now, if you are someone who is much more reliant on defense, this may not be the game that you enjoy, as that's hit towards center field. Defense will make a play. Out number 1 on the board now. Great way to keep runner at second. Cameron Balance, who is sitting over there. It's interesting to see, too, Kinston has switched to a few different batters in their lineup, as their other batters were not able to get much done. That comes in for strike number 1. I might have missed when the pinch hit announcement was, but this is certainly number 34, Jacob Alvarado, coming in for their previous catcher. As he gets hit by the pitch.
Alvarado takes first on the hit pitch.
So he'll take first.
And second with
one out on the board still.
Number 8,
Runners on first and second. Now Whit Branham has got to keep his cool.
Yes, a home run here makes it a one-run game.
What a first home run that would be to see here at East Clayton Community Park. Have not seen one from either team so far in quite a handful of games. A good check there. Now a 1-0 count. And that'll be called for strike number 1. It was just on that outside, not really, you don't want to swing at that. And that's exactly the kind of pitches that Whit Branham has excelled at throughout his season with the Clovers so far. That'll come just outside, though. Now a 2-1 count here. Does progressively get chillier as the night goes on. And that's fouled right back. 2-2 count.
I think the catcher asked for a different ball there, John.
Definitely possible, and I don't blame him. Sometimes you just don't like the way a ball feels, and a game like baseball, you have to you got to eliminate any factor that you can control. And that's fouled back. This battle continues. I mean, it should be obvious to say, Clovers, you really don't want to give a run up here on this inning. And not so much even for the score, but you want to eliminate as much of that momentum going into the 9th inning as possible. If you build some defensive momentum here, that defensive momentum can turn into offensive momentum, and suddenly this door is shut. For those of you who have tuned in more recently, it can be kind of odd calling a 7-11 game as close as it is, but the offense on both sides has just been remarkable. And as the bases are now loaded on that hit, the tying run comes up to plate. So they'll have another quick meeting between Branham and Levesque. Levesque has been a fantastic catcher all through the night. He's really done a great job of keeping the Wingmen from stealing bases. He's blocked a few wild pitches. He's honestly a big reason why the Clovers are still in the lead right now.
And you're talking about playing with anger. When the first run was given up by that walk, he was very angry. But he's channeled it.
He's channeled that very well. And you want the players to care. If you want to win championships, as the Clovers, in their short history, have a history of doing, it's the kind of attention to detail you need. Clovers, who got off to a slow start this season, in their first ever season with the Old North State League, started to find their footing more recently. And if anything now, it comes down to, can you close out these games? They've closed out a few close ones at home already.
Kind of a nail-biting scenario for the Clovers right now. There, John.
Absolutely. I feel like it's been nail-biting all game. About to go home and sleep for
Right down the middle.
a whole day. I am so filled with adrenaline from this game.
Holy cow.
And now Whit Branham will walk and run home. Just a 3-run game now. So the tying run is now at first base, and the leading run is now stepping up to home. As the coach is coming out, I'm thinking this might be the end of Whit Branham's night, and it sure is. He'll hand off the ball. We'll get you the new numbers on this guy after we come back. Clovers find themselves in a bit of a jam. They're trying to retake first in the division. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Welcome back into East Clayton Community Park here. Clayton turning to help on the mound as the bases are loaded with just one out. That'll be number 16 from the Clovers. Now he is looking to get the Clovers out of this jam. The leading run is at home plate. And that is what a way to start it. A hard swing and a miss from the Kinston Wingmen. You need to keep that up with just one out.
Absolutely.
There it is, strike two.
To the hand, the face don't want to hear it anymore.
Could this be another Perry Houdini escape bag?
It's possible. It is certainly possible. Something the Clovers have made themselves known for so far today. That one's going to get hit. That's going to be in play. One run's going to come home, and it will only be run. That is a single RBI there for Fisher Harrison. He is almost single-handedly keeping these Wingmen in the game as it's now an 11-9 lead for the Clovers. Bases are still loaded, still on out. If you're this pitcher, you really got to buckle down here because you worked up those two strikes. built a lot of confidence just to have some of that confidence ripped away. How does he respond here is the question. Pitch right down the middle is the answer for strike number 1.
And he's facing one of the hottest batters on the Wingmen in
Absolutely.
Luke Cannon.
This top of the Wingman lineup has just been deadly between Fisher Harrison, Luke Cannon, and Travis Gamache. That's going to get fouled back. Another 0-2 count. A pretty equal amount of fans here between Clayton Clovers and Kinston Wingmen. The Wingmen fans have been a lot more vocal as of late. That pitch is way up high. And that, no runners will get back. Once again, our battery pack absolutely cleaned off the phone by these foul balls.
Also knocks a walkie-talkie onto the table.
So an absolutely devastating pass ball there. And that's a fantastic strikeout there. My goodness. The Clovers are willing themselves into this game right now. They still lead by 2. 2 outs on the board. Bases loaded. Suddenly a lot of pressure's taken off once you get that second out there.
Oddly, though, the umpire had a little word with the catcher, Alex
Levesque. No call time.
Not sure what he was saying to him.
We know Alex can get into it and get fiery. Maybe he said something he shouldn't have. I'm giving him a warning. We don't know, but now a 1-0 count here as the Wingmen have the opportunity to really get their foot in the door here. That's going to be a foul tip. 1-1 count here. And because catcher kind of got hit there, ump will walk out to the pitcher by the catcher sometime. The brother in trenches will always look out for each other. It's a scary thing, having baseballs thrown at you for 9 innings.
Especially when they're coming in at the speed of a car.
Seriously, though. Speed of a car, they would get a pretty nasty ticket. That's hit. That's going to get thrown towards first base. That'll wrap up this inning. Clayton escapes once again with minimal damage done. Clovers lead 2. They have another chance here to pad this lead before they can shut this thing down. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers baseball. And it's going to be Alex Levesque now stepping up to the plate. He will be facing off against Logan Merritt, who will come up for his second work. Alex Levesque now. Momentum seems to be swinging just a bit towards Kinston, and the Clovers want to eliminate any of that before heading to the top of the ninth. So that first one comes just inside. It was Eli Pittman who was on the mound for the Clovers. Was able to get the Clovers out of a pretty sticky situation with minimal residue. As that one's going to get hit down towards the right side, and a pretty good catch there by the right fielder. That's going to be a quick out one here for the Clovers.
Your shortstop,
Luke Cannon out there in right field. Now Zach Zoltowski steps up to the plate. Do the Clovers need a run here?
Not necessarily, but it would be comforting.
I think it would take a lot of the pressure off of just about everybody to put up another run here. But you're right, definitely not needed. But they have to come out absolutely blazing on the field side of it. It's now a 1-1 count here. Again, we've seen a lot of Clovers and Wingmen movement on 2 outs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get even just one base runner before then, but then get to see a little more movement after that second out. As that ball is hit towards right field, they'll make the catch. That's out number 2 in this bottom of the 8th. Now the Clovers have one more out to try and pad this lead.
He's your left fielder, number 3, Isaiah.
It's going to be Isaiah Thomas stepping up now.
Ooh.
And Isaiah Thomas not particularly happy with that.
Thomas takes first on the hit pitch.
He's talking quite a bit on his way down. Pitcher's going to come down too. I'm just going to tell him to go back. Oh my goodness. And the players are furious coming out of the Clovers dugout. Assistant coach Matt Ellsworth has to hold him back. So we've talked about the Clovers have been furious throughout today, and they've been channeling that towards an 11-run performance.
If there was any doubt about it, John, it just got removed. That they were playing with anger.
Coming to the plate.
So drama here in the bottom of the 8th. And with this game far from over, Davey Morgan steps up to the plate here. I could say he could do it for his parents' 29th anniversary, but it would definitely be more for him than it would be for his parents. Well, I'm sure they'd love to see it.
It would be huge for the Clovers, too.
Massive for the Clovers. I mean, if you want to win the division, it's games like these that at the end of the season you're going to look back on, and they're going to have the impact. So now the Clovers dugout is going to be chirping hard against this pitcher. That's going to be outside. Now a 2-0 count here for Davey Morgan. The pitcher now taking his time. He's going to check on Isaiah Thomas. The ball's going to get past the first baseman. He's going to take off for second, and that's going to be a stolen base now for Isaiah Thomas with 2 outs on the board.
Oh, man, the dugout is fired up for the Clovers.
And the dugout is fired up, and as the crowd has slowly diminished as we've gotten pretty late here on a school night, the dugout is providing the energy needed here for the Clovers. And I tell you what, if this was a Friday night or a Saturday night game, this place would be absolutely buzzing. Unfortunately, as it is a school night, many people have had to slowly leave. And that's going to be a swing for strike number 2.
The ones who remain in the crowd, John, are very into it.
They are. With a few people here, the energy they are putting off is just extraordinary. I mean, this game has been a storybook so far as that comes up to a 3-2 count now. And this has been a long game. We're now 3 hours and 5 minutes in. Definitely one of the longer Clover games so far. And, I mean, both sides, they want it. They want this win. That's going to be outside. Davey Morgan's going to get to first, but they're going to drop the ball, and Isaiah Thomas is going to reach third. So all of a sudden here, you've got a runner at third base. And here comes Jack Stark.
Number 17, Jack Stark.
And it just might be that this fired upness that the Clovers have been harnessing, it might be enough momentum carrying into the ninth. You don't want to rely on it. Runner's going to take off. Davey Morgan going to second. Catcher's going to drop the ball for the third time now. And now you got runners on second and third with 2 outs here. And
The base stealing again, I have to say, has just been extraordinary.
I mean, it has helped with this Clovers offense tremendously as oftentimes they're getting into scoring position, maybe not off these hits, but off of these steals.
They have been caught a couple times.
They've absolutely been caught, but sometimes it's worth the price. I mean, we saw Jackson Dunlap steal 2 bases, get into scoring position, and end up getting a run out of that.
The rewards have definitely outweighed the penalties.
Absolutely. That's outside. So now a 3-1 count here for Jack Stark. That's going to be outside. Jack Stark is walked, and the bases are loaded. And now the Kinston Wingmen are going to need their own Houdini act to get out of this. Although 2 outs are on the board, the momentum is clearly swinging. And who else would you want right now than Big Mike?
And you know what really changed it? It was Thomas being hit by that pitch.
It really has. The entire energy of this Clovers team has changed ever since Thomas was hit by that pitch.
It changed from wanting to defend the lead to attacking.
They're playing like they're down 2 right now, and it is so energetic. Don't know if Mike Snyder's ever had the nickname of Big Mike, but if it catches on from here, I'm saying we coined it.
It definitely fits.
It fits. He's a big man made for big moments. And that's going to be hit towards the pitcher. That's going to be foul. They let it roll out. Everyone will return back. I'll tell you what, the people are so into this game. It got so silent before that pitch. I felt like I had to start commentating like a golfer there.
And the Wingmen were very fortunate that ran foul because it was going to be a very difficult play.
Oh, absolutely. Didn't really look like they were prepared to throw it to third either. I mean, the runner was almost already to third by the time that they had gotten there. So now a 2-1 count here for Mike Snyder. He'll swing hard at that one. Brings up to a 2-2 count. I'll tell you, he was swinging for the fences on that.
Definitely.
That's hit towards left center field. Isaiah Thomas is going to come home. Davey Morgan's going to come home. That's 2 more runs for the Clovers. And Big Mike delivers again. Even when Davey Morgan's having just enough of an off day, the Clovers have the weapons to respond here. And Mike Snyder is absolutely enjoying himself over there on first base. My goodness.
A huge game-changing play by Big Mike.
Absolutely. And now we see a crowd favorite return. Peter Maldonado is going to be pinch hitting here for Garrett Moffitt. Maldonado has been between designated hitter, catcher, been a phenomenal catcher. Now the Clovers with runners on first and second. They've gotten 2 more runs. They've gotten the momentum here. Now it's a question of can they build that even further as Maldonado builds up a 1-1 count. It's going to come in for a strike, too. I think even if Maldonado finds himself heading back to the dugout here, Clovers did what they were seeking to do so far. They just got to keep it up on the defensive side.
2 runs at this point added is huge.
Especially that huge momentum shift. Again, all started by Isaiah Thomas, and runners will advance here very casually as the catcher. I don't know what's going on with his glove, but he is just unable to bring these pitches in.
Stark seemed a little more urgent on that one than Big Mike.
Definitely.
Big Mike made it seem like he was walking in the park.
Absolutely. It was a pleasant little stroll down to second base here on a Sunday afternoon. More of a Sunday night, but... And Maldonado will swing and a miss there. That's a strike 3. But the Clovers put up 2 here, and they're going to the top of the 9th. They got to close it out. They'll be 1 game off of first. I mean, it's a big inning coming up here.
It's huge.
Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. We'll be right back. So Eli Pittman comes out, and he will be the designated closer here for the Clovers. Clovers built up a lot of momentum on that last inning. Worked up 2 outs, but we've talked about it all night. The 2-out ball movement by the Clovers is a big reason why they are currently winning this game. And it's Cameron Way up first to bat here. out of Methodist University. Eli Pittman's going to step off the mound here for just a second. That's a hard swing and a miss for strike number 1.
The Wingmen dugout seem to, well, they know it's do or die time, and they're offering as many words of encouragement as
Absolutely.
possible.
That's going to be hit high into left center field. It is right under Isaiah Thomas. He'll make the catch. That's out number 1.
Now batting first baseman number 24, Cameron.
Now Cameron balanced. Cameron number 2 steps up. He's got just 2 outs to work with here. Now both dugouts are absolutely lasered in on this game, as that's a hard swing and a miss for strike 1. Clovers dugout really quieted down between innings. I think they're on the edge of their seat here. They don't want to throw the pitcher off. They don't want to throw the defense off.
They just want the
They want the win more than anything, because that's fouled
they
off.
want the win. That's exactly right.
I think we could be in for a absolute hot game tomorrow at the Kinston Wingmen. Blood is boiling between sides here. And that's going to be strike 3. Oh, my goodness.
2 outs in the inning.
Cameron Balance is going to offer his words of protest. Not that it's going to matter, though. That's now 2 outs on the board. And the Wingmen are down to their final out here. Oh, and the ump is not happy.
I was down at the bathroom when you.
To be honest, though, I don't blame the Wingmen being upset about that one.
The pitch definitely was, it was move.
This park's pretty clean. There's nothing really. No, I see a couple things, but once they get out of the big.
That's going to come in for strike number 1 here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pick up like some of those peanut shells.
And the Clovers just 1 out away from creeping even closer to that first place. Now a 1-1 count here at East Clayton Community Park. That's going to get hit. That's in play. JoJo Allen throws it out to Jackson Dunlap. That's going to be out number 3. That's the game. The Clovers turn that momentum their way. They hold on. They win 13-9. Will, what stood out to you about this game?
The consistency, absolutely. It was there for the Clovers. We said they needed it. They had it, and that was the key to the victory.
Absolutely. I mean, the Wingmen, they played well. At the end of the day, the Clovers just played better. They wanted it. Now the Clovers are now only 1 game behind first place. And tomorrow they have the opportunity to take that away from the Kinston Wingmen. It's not going to be an easy game by any means. I think the Wingmen are going to come in for blood tomorrow. This has been John Loomis and Will Dobson with you on the call here at East Clayton Community Park. It was a heck of a game to watch. We want to thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. The Clovers will be back at home not until Friday, but you can catch the Clovers on the road. They'll play the next few games on the road. Starting tomorrow in Kinston, you can tune in on the Old North State League YouTube or socials. It has been a pleasure. Clovers win it 13-9.